These four things can help you lose your weight easily. Number one, have proteins, a good amount of proteins. I would say the moderate amount of proteins. Normally, in our normal diet, we don't have enough proteins. Believe me, most of the place is taken by carbohydrate, which is not good. If you don't have enough protein, it's okay still, but having lots of carbohydrate is the reason for this pandemic known as hyperinsulinemia, which for some reasons is literally underdiagnosed and literally it's not being taken care of. What we focus on are the symptoms such as high blood sugar, so-called diabetes and whatever, but the hyperinsulinemia is not being taken care of, and right now certain supplements are coming focusing on that aspect, but the fact is that you don't need any supplements. It's your diet which you had. Our ancestors had good diet pattern. Anyways, we'll talk about it later. The first thing, as I said, protein. How much protein do you want? So suppose if you're female, you would want daily at least the size of your hand, whatever comes in your size of the hand, that much amount of protein, I would say, right? And if you are male, just double it up. That's just a rough scale of how much protein daily you want when you're not doing any heavy activities. Number two, treat the cause. In most of the cases, the cause of obesity is hyperinsulinemia. Now, people say that it's genetic as well. Now, this genetic bomb is dropped too often, I have seen. The fact is that we don't know what are genetic and what are not until and unless we suffer from it. That's the first thing. Second thing, genetic susceptibility is not enough for you to get diseased. You must provide a good environment for that genetic factor to act, to get overwhelmed, to win on us. So that's your lifestyle. And it doesn't happen on one day, 1 month, or even 1 year. It happens when you do when you don't take care of your body for at least say 3 to 5 years, 6 years, 15 years, right? So check that hyperinsulinemia with good diet. I always say it's dip diet. That is, you should be having good amount of fruits. If you have got high glycated hemoglobin, you should be considering the fruits which have got low glycemic index. But later on, you can have any fruits, because having fruits as such is much better than having almost anything else, because we eat rubbish. We have hardly good choices, I would say, nowadays, and it's difficult to choose the food which we should be eating. Number three, you should be exercising. It's very important whether it's a male or female. It's more important in males because exercise is directly linked to testosterone level. Higher your testosterone level is, more your fat burning capacity is. So once you exercise, it burns fat, it builds muscle, which increases your metabolic rate, which indirectly and also directly burns your fat. Also, it increases your testosterone level, which maintains your metabolic rate. So all in all, it's a win situation. I know it's a bit boring and it's painful, I would say. And once we get a bit aged, we try to avoid it. Earlier, I used to go 5 times gym. Now I go. I don't go to gym. I do strength training, resistance training workout in my home, and I think I'm doing well because I don't see fat too much. My BMI is way low actually. Anyways, the fourth point is avoid grains as much as possible. It's very, very important. You can have millets, quinoa, all these are okay. But in general, what we receive at our home, I'm talking about the people who are living in cities, everything is processed. already the fiber has been taken out. Don't eat wheat. The gluten is harmful. It has been directly linked with uh, multiple processes which leads to metabolic diseases. Also try to avoid other grains, because in most of the cases the fibers has been taken out, and what you're having is something which has got a very low fiber to carb ratio. You must be aware of. I always speak about it. It's important to see from where I'm getting it. For example, just I'll divert a bit. One, you try to have bananas directly, and then you just without putting water in that, you just in a mixer grinder just mix it properly. It will become a bit of not like a juice, not like a shake, but of course it will be something very semi-liquid sort of. Now try to have that. You will feel fuller. Believe me, you'll feel as if you are full. You haven't added anything extra, but you feel full. You don't want to have any more. So that's why I say the structure, the form in which it is present is very important. It's not like that's one of the reasons why I don't promote supplements. And many people say few many things. I mean, that should be the last resort. I mean, it's something. It's just like a bullet in your armory. Supplements. You should know when to use it. If you don't use it correctly, most probably it will harm you. It won't be beneficial to you. So we don't need it in most of the cases. If you take it from supplements which has got extract, fibers, etc., etc., no, the source is important. From where are we getting it? That's very important. It doesn't matter how much of grams or milligrams of vitamin C a tablet has. It's nowhere in comparison to a citrus fruit, a good healthy orange. Uh, in no way it comes closer to that. So that's important. The source is very important, and I do understand. I do live in a city, and I do understand it's difficult. Living in Germany, I think it's a bit easier, but people who are living in the US, it's more difficult, because I know I've got many friends in US, many clients, and they say that to receive fresh fruits and veggies, it's too expensive, and it's not reliable also. So try your best, right? The fifth one, the last one, is to avoid processed food. That I did pretty early in my life, as I started my not career, but my when I started lifting weights. I was pretty underweight, and I decided that okay, I should be gaining some weight. So at that moment, I think that bodybuilding sense of a person who regularly goes to gym regularly, that instills a sense of discipline in that person, so that he doesn't eat anything which he shouldn't be eating. Nothing processed, absolutely nothing. He might be eating something. I was having a lot of milk at that moment, thinking that would help me, but later I came to know that no, I don't require milk. It does harm us. It doesn't have any benefits actually. So I don't believe in American Diabetes Association. I don't believe in any of the health institutions, because when there was Corona time, the WHO told us, I was in India then, to prescribe azithromycin, all the and chloroquine. All those are immunosuppressants. They suppress your immunity, and I didn't write it. I just let it. Maybe I can tell you. I just wrote it on the register where we have to show that what we have written, but I never prescribed that to my patients, and most of them survived. So because it didn't make any sense to me, writing antibiotics, writing chloroquine, all those are writing so many stuff which all are immunosuppressants. Already the patient is immunocompromised when the patient has got a viral infection. So we are actually making the people sick. That's why I don't believe in most of the health institutions. I use my brain, and the world is running that way. the people are getting sick, and you will see the chronic diseases. Most of the people who are sick are the people who have got good amount of money to have to eat whatever they wish to eat. The problem is they don't have good information. So what happens is they follow the doctor, which unknowingly prescribes something which he shouldn't be, because that's what the health institutions above that doctor has told him to do. And now what happens is, with time, the person doesn't get better, and we just try to mask the symptoms and keep on piling up the symptoms, and that becomes a big problem for that person. It's difficult actually. You will hardly see a person who doesn't have hardly anything to eat and he is suffering with any chronic. I'm saying about any chronic disease. I'm not talking about diabetes. I'm talking about even hypertension. I'm talking about multiple diseases. I think it's way too much have okay. I'm mixing with German. We have too much put our we have put too much stress, too much focus on stress as a factor. Now, stress will cause high, like rise of cortisol. Now, cortisol is not a useless stuff. Cortisol is needed. Every hormone is needed if they are in glycogen, if they are in balance. But if we take stress daily, of course, normally we take stress only when we don't do what we're supposed to do. That's my hypothesis. It's difficult to take stress when you do everything which you can do, and you are not too emotional, I would say. Then I don't think this is a bad thing. Stress a bit is a good thing actually. But here, what we are told that not to take stress. Anyways, just getting diverted all of this. So yeah, not to have processed food was my fifth one. And if you do all these five steps, you don't need anyone. All you need is discipline. Without discipline, you won't get anywhere. And once you get into a habit of doing that, it's a simple habit actually. Initially, it's a bit difficult. It's supposed to be difficult because it's inertia. Already you're in inertia of a bit of bequemlichkeit, a bit of comfort you have got. Now you want to change your route. It's not easy. Take small steps at one time and succeed. You can do it. One thing which I forgot to tell you, to avoid seed oils. Seed oils are a total no. Don't have seed oils at all of any kind. Avoid, avoid, avoid. Oil industry is one of the largest industry which has which has been able to fool us. Like no saturated fat, okay, no saturated fats, no hydrogenated oils, which earlier were used. That was also not good. But now what we're coming up with, the seed oil of all sort of, I mean, we find it everywhere. Avoid that. Use olive oil, use avocado oil. All those comes expensive. Try to use as little as possible. I try not to use oil at all. I try with water. Now I'll tell you later how you can cook with water. You may find it boring, but it works. It's all a habit.